Who are you?
Whoever you want me to be.
Don't say I never gave you anything.
It's feeling epic.
3 words. 8 letters.
I remember everything.
Hello, and welcome back to Previously on Teen TV. I'm Jillian Benani.
And I'm Claire Wojciechowski.
And we have another very special episode for you today. It is the end of 2024. This is our last podcast up of the year.
I know. I can't believe it. We've done so much this year and it went by in a flash.
I know. It really has. Ooh, spooky. Hate it when time goes quick.
Oh, God.
But we are going to end the year with a bang. Mm-hmm. Pun intended.
Oh, wow. She's starting already.
I mean, 2024, big year. A lot of ups, a lot of downs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I feel like the teen heartthrobs really helped us get through this year.
Yeah, I mean, we had a lot of great teen TV in 2024, but I think the thing that stood out was the heartthrobs shone through time and time again.
And they really pushed boundaries in 2024. We had previous teen heartthrobs coming back into the spotlight, having a full-on renaissance in a way we've never seen before.
No, I mean, it used to be once you were on that teen show, that was it for your career. But no. These men proved that wrong.
And then we also had some new heartthrobs that are currently on shows really like break out of the show. They were in movies. They really kind of became, you know, way more popular than just the teen show that they're on.
Yeah, internet boyfriends, fashion it boys. We're gonna dive into it today.
I feel like I always know somebody is becoming big when like my friends are like, oh yeah, I've heard of Drew Starkey. Like I know who that is. And I'm like, oh wow, they're breaking through.
Like your friends like that don't watch the teen TV?
Yeah, my friends outside of the two of you.
Just to be, you know, I that's what I'm saying. Mine is like the people that I work with who are like, you know, they're engaged in media and TV and movies, but not in the way that we are. And so when they start knowing these names, I'm like, aha, they've breached the grander consciousness.
And I'm like, good for them. You did it. You're doing it.
Yeah, you're a star.
There was once a time where these heartthrobs literally were only on these shows. And that was it.
Yeah.
And we didn't see much else of them.
No. And then they would like languish on like bad TV or like TV movies. Like they would just kind of like evaporate. I mean, like, look at the cast of Beverly Hills 90210.
Okay. I was just going to say that. Like the person that came to mind was Jason Priestley.
Yes. He is the poster boy for this.
Which, you know, but he seems to be doing well. He's working on My Life with the Walter Boys now, but he wasn't able to have this renaissance that some of these other men are having.
No, not quite.
So I'm very excited to get into it. So we will be crowning our 2024 Heartthrob of the Year. We're going to talk about the nominees today. We came up with these nominees together. And the criteria to be nominated is you have to be connected to a teen show. So you don't currently need to be on one, but you have had to have been on one before. And a regular. You have to be a regular on a teen show. Sorry, Sebastian Stan. You almost made it.
He came close to making the cut, but
I know you're dying that you weren't nominated for this.
He's got 2 Golden Globes. He's okay.
Yeah, he's doing fine this year.
Yeah.
So you had to be connected to a teen show, and you had to have a moment this year. So you had to have a bit of like a breakthrough moment. Maybe you were nominated for something. Maybe you got put on a list. Maybe you're part of a big movie that just brought you more into the zeitgeist.
Yeah, you had to capture the attention of the people for a moment in 2024 beyond the teen TV viewing audience.
So this is like our sexiest man alive. Picture us as People Magazine. This is our big thing for the year. Hopefully we'll get it more right than People Magazine gets their sexiest man alive.
Don't get me started on that. You know that's all political.
John Krasinski, sorry, but maybe 10 years ago. Not even then, honestly. So this is big. This is our Heartthrob of the year. And as we were saying, you had to have a moment this year. So I don't want to hear, where is Milo Ventimiglia? Like, what did he do this year? Years past, sure, and maybe next year.
Yeah, he could have some project coming out next year that we don't know about.
Exactly. But I'm sorry, for this year, he didn't have a big moment.
No.
Maybe if he was in the Gilmore Girls commercial.
I like that you're already prepared for like an argument
Yeah,
with the
I know.
listeners.
We're getting
to
backlash.
fight.
We know we're going to get backlash.
I am ready to fight.
Jillian posted the Instagram post, and she's already got comments.
Well, that's why we need to talk about why we nominated these people.
Right.
So people don't come for me. But I get it. We're all like tied to these teen heartthrobs.
Yeah.
So I get it of why you're like, why aren't we seeing this person? Like, they still hold up totally 100%. But this is Heartthrob of 2024.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe one day we'll do like greatest heartthrob of all time.
Oh my God,
that
that's
would
a
be
tough
fun. Wheels are turning already. So this is just strictly for 2024. So we can do this yearly.
Yeah.
That's the fun in it.
I mean, we've got a lot of teen TV coming out in 2025, so who knows who's going to break out next year.
And I am pulling for some of these people to break out more, like Chase Crawford. I know he's in The Boys, but like I need more from him. Put him in a big movie or something.
You know what? He gets a lot of attention when he's on Kelly Teller's Instagram videos.
Yeah, that's where I see him the
Right,
most.
exactly. He makes appearances in those, and we're all like, oh my God, Chase Crawford's so cute. Like, I don't know, capitalize on that.
I know. Do you want to say her name is Kaylee? Because I do every time she comes up.
I
That's where
have
my
to think
mind
about
just
it.
went. That's where my mind just went.
Well, and I used to think it was Keely.
I think I thought it was Keely. You're right. That's what I thought it was.
You all know who we're talking about.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift's friend,
She
Miles
gives
Teller's
us-
wife.
She gives us such good Chase Crawford content.
Yes.
And I appreciate that. Like,
Yes.
thank you. That's what we want.
However you say your first name, we thank you for your service.
I feel like I'm talking a lot about Chase Crawford for him not to be nominated. But again, I'm just pulling for him in life.
Yeah, we like him.
Okay, so let's talk about our nominees for previously on Teen TV's Heartthrob of the Year. So our first nominee, we have Chad Michael Murray from One Tree Hill. I mean, he had a big year this year.
Huge year this year.
He really came back in the zeitgeist. I feel like he became known as the guy of the early 2000s teen heartthrob. Like we like crowned him that this year.
Yeah, like he had these interviews that he was doing talking about when he was on One Tree Hill and reflecting on that status, and it was sort of like almost like, oh, now we get it. Like he didn't get that recognition at the time,
Yeah.
or at least we didn't take him seriously. And now that he's older and he's sort of having fun with it and leaning into it, now we're like, oh, like we can call him a heartthrob. He can call himself a heartthrob. Like it's all in good fun.
I mean, one of my favorite things from this year was him really leaning into it and like acknowledging that relationship that he has with a lot of like millennial women of like, yeah, we had your poster on our bedroom wall, and now instead of him kind of resenting that, I feel like he's leaning into it, and it's just fun when they lean into it. Like we all get to then have some fun together with it. And it was just a bright spot of my year of him really leaning into that. I mean, we did a whole podcast episode on his interview with The Cut.
We did. Breaking news, an emergency pod.
I appreciate that he now appreciates that he imprinted on us, basically.
Well, I guess we should talk about what he did this year that had his breakout moment. So he was in not one, but two Netflix films. The first was Mother of the Bride with Brooke Shields.
Did you watch that?
I watched half of it, and then I stopped.
My mom watched it. Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think?
It was like really cheesy, but it was fun.
Yeah.
I thought his character was a little like cringy, but I think that was the point. Like
Yeah.
it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
So he was definitely leaning into it in that one.
But I was like, oh, he's in a Brooke Shields movie. Good for you.
I
Like,
know.
that's big.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, Chad, you're back. I feel like he hadn't done something in a bit of time.
No, he was on. He is still on that show that's on the CW,
Right.
that Canadian show, Sullivan's Crossing. But like, that's not quite. You know how many people know about that show even.
Yeah.
I will
know.
say part of the reason, like actually the main reason I watched the movie was because he was in it.
Exactly.
Like I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, Chad Michael Murray, haven't seen him in ages.
Well, they're pulling that millennial audience because
Right.
the older audiences are like, oh, Brooke Shields and Benjamin Bratt, like that's a fun romance, and I'm like, but I want to see Chad Michael Murray as a hot doctor.
I feel like Hollywood execs kind of learned that this year of like, let's just throw Chad Michael Murray in here because these millennial women will watch what he's in.
Yes.
We're ready to have him back. Well, and he also debuted a hot body this year.
Yes.
That we did not know was like under there. So he ended the year with the Christmas movie, The Merry Gentleman. the Magic Mike
Uh-huh.
Christmas movie on
Yes.
Netflix. You know, I haven't watched it
I
yet.
watched it literally an hour ago, and he looks great.
He looks
great.
That body.
So, you
I
know.
mean, how many abs does he have?
Like 12 at least.
It's wild. It's
Yeah.
kind of crazy. He should just be shirtless all the time.
Yeah.
How old is he?
Around 40, I want to say.
Okay.
I think so.
I mean, good for him. That's
Yeah.
hard to get that body.
He is 43.
Damn.
Good for him.
Good
He
for
looks
him.
great.
Well, the
for
best thing
43.
that came out of that Christmas movie was the Christmas calendar
Yes.
then that he made, which was a lot of fun. Again, he's leaning into it. So good for Chad.
Yeah.
Congrats on your nomination.
All right. Moving on to our next nominee is Joshua Jackson from Dawson's Creek.
Big year. I know he's been around and been in things. Like, he really is somebody who has been on a lot of TV shows
Yeah.
since Dawson's Creek.
He's consistently worked.
Yeah. But I just think this year he blew up and really everyone was noticing.
Well, he showed up to the Emmys this fall to promote his new show, Dr. Odyssey.
Claire, he showed up.
He showed up.
He showed up. He looks so good.
He looked like incredible. And we all, he's been going through some breakups, some ending of his relationships, but he also just had like that like charm. Like he was doing interviews on the red carpet and he's like, my life is great. I have nothing to complain about. I've got a great kid. I get to work in LA. Like just so smiley and looked so good. And I think we were all just like, oh, right. Like Pacey Witter. Like, yeah.
He has a swagger to him.
Yes.
That he still has and that he consistently has. And I think now he has a little bit of gray in the hair. So he's kind of giving us like older distinguished, but still charming and
Yes.
with that swagger and just like having some fun. And it's nice to see. I mean, I always felt like he looked like an old Hollywood type of actor. And
Yeah.
I feel like now he really does. Like a little bit like a George Clooney.
I could see him going down that route.
I keep saying put him in an Ocean's movie. I know he had a cameo in Ocean's 11, but I want him in like a full role.
Well, you know what I think it is when he played Pacey, he had this sort of like sarcastic, like smart alecky, like winky sort of sense of humor. And at the time in like a young character, you're like, oh, like adorable, cute, whatever. And now
Yeah.
as an adult, it's like kind of smirky in like a
Yeah.
sexy way. And you're like he knows a little bit and it's a little winking and like more of a like a teasing way. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's the same quality, but it's transitioned into something.
He is sexy.
Yes.
He should have been people's sexiest man alive, I think.
What's crazy is that like he got rid of that facial hair and it just like, I don't know, but
I
it did
know.
wonders for him.
That is what it is.
Yeah, he shaved
He had that beard for a bit.
He did.
Yeah.
And then he got rid of it and we were like, who is this man? Like,
We're like, oh my God, we can see your face.
Yeah.
Yeah. He, what a year for him. And Dr. Odyssey seems to be doing well. You know, I watched one up. I didn't love
we
it.
both watched the pilot and then we were like,
I do feel like they're leaning into camp though. So I was like, maybe I should take it back up and know that it's campy.
Well,
I feel like I wasn't prepared for that.
yeah, I think if we maybe a Christmas binge, if you're laying around and you're like,
Yeah.
I need something easy for the background, why not?
At least we get to stare at him.
Exactly.
I do also want to shout out. I mean, he had such a like performance at the Emmys. He did not perform or anything, but him just being there was. I mean, the internet went wild.
Right.
But we have to talk about when he came out to present the award to Greg Berlanti and they played the Dawson's Creek theme song and he gave that little chuckle and it was just like so cute and it felt too like he was embracing it a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is nice. I feel like especially those Dawson's Creek boys, because that show was so big, I'm sure that they've struggled with their teen heartthrobness over the years. They were kind of like some of the first ones too.
Yeah, I mean, that was like 1998 when that show first came
Yeah.
out. So yeah, pretty early.
I mean, they basically invented the WB boy.
Oh yeah.
So I feel like it's probably been a little difficult over the years. And it was just nice to see him chuckle, have a good laugh about it, embrace it. Pacey Witter is such a beloved character still.
Yeah.
That it's nice that I feel like he can look back on it all fondly.
Yeah. Agreed.
So We're rooting for you, Joshua. Good luck. All right, next up, we got a big one. I mean, quite the renaissance this year. Woo. We're talking Adam Brody from the OC. I don't think we've ever seen anything like this, to be honest.
I feel like, he did the OC. People loved him. And he's done some projects over the years since then, but like nothing too high profile.
Right.
And then with Nobody Wants This, when it came out, people were like, we still love him as much as we ever did 20 years ago. Like it never went away. It was just dormant. And then it like was resuscitated with this show.
I mean, he is so good as a romantic lead. It is wild. I couldn't believe it. Like, he was just so good. And this show was so good. And he's just so funny, too. And not in this, like, obnoxious, like, comedian way. In just a, like, what's the word? Like, a romantic...
I think
I don't know. I'm just like
she's like overwhelmed. She can't speak.
I mean, this was the highlight of my year. Him being in Nobody Wants This was the highlight of my year. And I was so happy to see him in a role like this again and to have him like succeed in it and be so good in it. And then to be nominated for a Golden Globe for the role. Like, it's just, I'm just so happy for him. And I'm happy he's back on our TV screens. We needed it. I missed it.
I know. I mean, he's just like a comforting presence. Like, he's cute and he's sweet. And like, we know that in real life, he's a family man. Like, he's married to Leighton Meester and they have 2 kids. And like, they've worked together before. Like, the press campaign that they're in the middle of for him right now. Like, him in those holiday sweaters. Are you kidding me?
Obsessed.
Like, it's Chris McGaw all over again.
It's
Do you know
his
what I mean?
time of year.
It is. And they timed it so perfectly. He's so charming in person. Like we saw him at an event and he's funny and cute. And it's just like, it's unfair.
He was so charming. And I feel like he was embracing like this audience that was all women.
Yes.
Supporting him. And I think he like really appreciates the support that he's gotten this year over everything. Like, you can just tell. And it's funny because I kind of started off the year, I remember, not loving him because I was annoyed. Look, I appreciated his honesty in the OC book. And I'm glad he was honest about it. But I was kind of like, it just sucks that you really hated that role so much at the end. I think that was like hard for me to hear.
Yeah.
But now I feel like he was able to be so honest because he's accepted it more.
Yeah.
And now that he's been able to move on and take on this other character that is now as beloved as Seth Cohen, I think it's been nice to see him embrace it. And he seems happy about it, which I just think is so nice. Like, what an evolution.
Yeah. I mean, he's come to terms with it. He's grown up. You know what I mean? He's grown up and he's grown into a fine man. And yeah, we're all better for it, I think.
I mean, I could watch 8 seasons and a movie of Nobody Wants This. Just keep doing roles like this. Honestly. Please. We need more charming men like this on TV.
We need more rom-coms. We need more romance.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of romance.
And he can give it. And not everybody can do that.
No.
What he does, I think, is so hard. And we've seen a lot of men fail at this. And he makes it look effortless. Yeah. And again, it's like the funny, the charming, it's everything wrapped up in one. Like he's romantic in it, which is, it's just hard, I think, to do all 3 things like that.
I think it's like, I believe that that's how he really is.
I know, because
he
it's
just
so
seems
effortless.
so normal. Like
Yeah.
he's not like some of these guys end up being a little weird,
Yeah.
and especially being in the industry for so long. And he just seems so normal, and like, I just believe that is who he is.
I know. I agree too. I do feel like he is surprisingly normal for
Yeah.
everything he's been through and for how long he's been in the industry. And you're right. I do think that's a little bit part of it. Of just like, you don't seem conceited. You don't seem like an asshole. We've also never heard any form of stories like that about him ever. I mean, again, it was like the worst thing was he was like, oh, I didn't like the OC at the end. I like stopped reading the scripts.
Yeah.
and I was mad about that. Could be way worse.
Yeah, but he was always on time, and he was never mean. He made a point of that in the book. He's like, I always I did the job, just not with gusto. But
yeah,
whatever.
Well, I've forgiven you.
Exactly.
So
we've moved on.
You brought us Noah. You're forgiven for everything. We love you. I mean, again, really a bright spot in 2024 for everyone. I'm like still smiling about it.
Okay. Well,
it's too good. Claire's like, we gotta move on.
I was like, we could spend hours on Adam Brody, but
I'm like, I really could. I'm just so happy. I've never been happier for anybody.
So, okay. So now I think let's moving on to somebody new.
One more thing about Adam Brody. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh my God. Our next nominee is Drew Starkey from Outer Banks.
Woo woo. What a year for him. I mean, who would have thought out of everybody in Outer Banks that he would be the big breakout?
I mean, not me. Season 1 with that haircut. Are you kidding?
Well, once he got the buzz cut, we knew then.
Things.
Once he had that buzz cut renaissance in season 3, it was
we forgave all his past sins.
This man is sex appeal. He is.
He's hot. He's so hot.
I mean, the photos of him this year, I'm like, oh my God. I don't want to say the amount of Drew Starkey fan accounts I follow on Instagram, but it's a bit because the photos are too good. Okay.
Well, he's been everywhere just promotionally. Like he's done interviews with, I wrote down British GQ, Dazed, Esquire, VF.com, Interview, American GQ. He just did an Actors on Actors for Variety that was released the day of this taping.
Yeah.
He's been everywhere and he looks great in every photo shoot, on every red carpet. Like he just sort of gives this like effortless, like his hair is kind of like tousled and not super well done, but like that makes it hotter in a way.
I feel like he's just really come out as a heartthrob of 2024. Somebody who looks great, but also like has these acting chops and is now really like making the move to movies. I mean, he's in a movie with Daniel Craig. Like that's huge.
A big movie, yeah.
A big movie. You saw it, right?
I saw it, yeah.
What's your review?
I mean, it's what I think most of the reviews say it is. It's kind of weird, but like I liked it. He looks hot in it.
Okay, that was my question.
You know what I mean?
We don't care about the movie. How did he look?
He looks hot.
Yeah.
You know, it's set in the 1950s, so he's got like slicked back hair and like tight shirts and like little glasses. Like different look for him, but I liked it too.
Do we see him naked? Like butt?
I can't. No, there's a brief scene where I think he like opens the door and he's naked, but it's like real quick.
Okay. He seems to be sweaty a lot in it.
Well, there's a whole sequence where they're on ayahuasca and so they're like tripping.
Oh,
that's
fun.
like 20 minutes of the movie at the end. That's when it gets really weird.
Well, I look forward to seeing it.
There's a sex scene for,
yeah.
you know.
There's a sex scene.
There's a sex scene.
No,
anyway.
I do feel like it's the holiday season, but it's Drew Starkey season. He is everywhere right now. I feel like I can't get online without seeing his face, and I'm not complaining about that, by the way. I think he deserves this.
I mean, you are the one that said you followed a bunch of Drew Starkey.
It's my algorithm. But,
Sure.
But I feel like it was the year everyone discovered how hot and talented he is. You know, he's both. And to get a big movie like this when you're still on your teen TV show, that's big. That used to never happen. So it's exciting that he's really breaking through this year.
Yeah, I feel like, people used to write off teen actors. They like wouldn't even consider them for serious roles just because they were on teen TV shows. Right. And thankfully, like that's sort of a culture shift overall. But it also speaks to, I think, his talent that they put him in this role and that he holds his own against Daniel Craig.
We always thought he had some gravitas on Outer Banks.
We love a man with gravitas.
Yeah, you can tell. So I feel like we put our stock in on him early on, especially after the buzz cut.
I mean, he's a fashion boy. He's one of the Loewe boys,
I'm happy for him with that. It's been fun seeing him like really dress it up and show off that fashion side. I love it when these heartthrobs lean into the fashion a little bit.
Yeah.
It's fun. And I feel like the newer ones really do.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah.
It's like, you're a heartthrob. Don't just wear a boring suit.
Yeah.
Get,
they're having fun with it.
Get a little wild. Get a little wacky. We like that.
I also appreciate about him that, like, when you talk to other actors about him, or you see interviews rather with other actors, like they talk about him as sort of like very normal and almost like not like a hermit, but like they're like, oh, who's the least likely to text you back? They're like, it's Drew. Like he seems kind of like very down to earth and relatable in a way.
Yeah.
And he talks about being from North Carolina, which
He's
is so
close
like
to where
cute.
Tyler's from.
Yes, he's from like the mountains in Appalachia. Yeah. Like near Asheville. He's from there.
I think he's from Hickory. That is like right by
that
where
might
Tyler
be,
is.
yeah.
I went to brunch there when we were at Tyler's home, and I was like, I wonder if Drew Starkey's here.
You might one day though.
Embarrassing. One day I could run into him, and wouldn't that be fun? Like in North Carolina.
You know what? Maybe they'll both end up in the Hickory Hall of Fame one day.
Oh, that would be fun.
Wouldn't that be
yeah,
cute?
Drew Starkey and Tyler together. Tyler will need to up his fashion game a little bit.
Yeah. But regardless, we love Drew Starkey, and I hope to see more things from him in the future, and I think we will.
Yeah, I'm really rooting for him. I'm interested to see where his career will go and what more movies or stuff like that he's going to book. But what's nice is it does seem like he is staying down to earth, like what you were saying. Outer Banks is very important to him. Like he's not saying anything bad about that show or anything like that. And I like that. Like don't
bite the hand that feeds you.
Exactly. So we're rooting for you, Drew. All right. Next up, we have another One Tree Hiller. We had to put him on this list. James Lafferty. Really what he did this year was just that American Eagle photo shoot, ad, commercial, whatever it was. But that's enough. That was important work, and we all appreciated that. And I think everybody was like, oh my God. I mean, he looks better now than he did on the show.
100%.
And I still thought he was hot on the show, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, he was my number one.
He's always your number one. Yeah.
He's my number one heartthrob for life.
He had a great moment with that American Eagle ad, and the fact that it timed so closely to the cut interview with Chad Michael Murray earlier in the spring. That was a really fun moment for the One Tree Hill fans. And I think he sort of kept it going where, like, you know, he's done the One Tree Hill conventions throughout the year.
Yeah.
He did that interview with Joy in relation to her book. That was really exciting for people to see. So yeah, he just continues to get hotter every year.
I mean, his body. Wow, what a reveal. I mean, I do think that out of everybody in this list, like, he would win in a fight.
Yeah.
Because I feel like his body is like real too. It's not like supplements were used in the creation of his body.
Yeah.
It seems like natural. So good for him.
Yeah.
You know? Maybe he'll fight somebody on this list. I don't know. We'll see. But get this man in an action movie, please. Like, why isn't he on one of those like Netflix action type of movies or TV shows? I just feel like this man should be booked and busy. And the reaction that all of us millennials had to that American Eagle ad proves that. Like, we want this man to be booked and busy. We're begging for it. We're craving it.
We've talked about this. He would do so well on a procedural.
Yes.
On like a network procedural. You know, give me 24 episodes where I can't tell the plot apart week to week. But I don't care. I just want him looking hot in a uniform. That's all I need.
Get him on Grey's Anatomy or something.
With Sophia Bush.
Yeah, there we go.
Why not?
Love it. Why
Yes.
not? That's what he needs. And I know he's doing his own show with Stephen Coletti. And good for them. But give me something else.
Yeah,
I just want some more of him. We need it.
Something higher profile. Yeah.
Yeah. Or even like, I'd watch him in a Christmas Hallmark movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's weird he hasn't really done those. I guess he just doesn't want to.
Yeah, because
It's
he's
not
one
his
of the
thing.
few cast members of One Tree Hill that hasn't. Like almost everybody else who has been on One Tree Hill has done a Hallmark or a Lifetime or a Netflix Christmas movie.
Well, and I think he is so good at being romantic. Like, that's why we all fell in love with Nathan Scott.
Yeah. Oh my God, he would be so sincere as
I
like
know.
a widowed dad. Oh, are you kidding?
Oh my God, he would make a great widowed dad.
Yeah.
You're right.
Ugh. Next year.
Wow, please, James, just give us what we want.
I know.
And congratulations on your nomination. And I want to also thank again that marketing girl at American Eagle that came up with this James Lafferty idea. We all thank you for that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, next up on our list, we have got Jacob Elordi from Euphoria.
I mean, he is the Gen Z heartthrob.
He is.
He is.
I mean, there was no Euphoria this year, but he still is in the zeitgeist. He's still all over the place. Started the year with 2 films, Saltburn and Priscilla, which sort of opened last year, but we're still running into this year. So many people watched Saltburn over like the Christmas break and came back talking about it in January.
Loved it. And I loved him in Priscilla, too.
He's so good in Priscilla.
Oh, my God. He is so good.
That movie's underrated. I feel like more people need to
Agreed.
watch Priscilla.
That was like one of my favorite movies.
It's really good.
Of all time.
Yeah.
He also hosted SNL this year, which that's big.
Oh,
when
huge.
a teen heartthrob crosses over to host SNL. It doesn't happen often.
And he was good, I thought.
I mean, Joshua Jackson has hosted.
Yes.
Do you know who the musical guest was when he hosted?
It was insane.
Yes.
Yes. I was like, I just saw this clip online a couple
Isn't
weeks
that
ago.
so funny.
So wild.
Oh my God. I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a big moment for him. And he's just somebody who is booked and busy.
Yes. I mean, we know that he finished filming the Guillermo del Toro Frankenstein film this year. There was a lot of announcements or a lot of attention around him doing Wuthering Heights with Emerald Fennell and Margot Robbie. That's going to be in theaters on Valentine's Day 2026. So that's something that I'm looking forward to.
I
a
cannot
full
wait
year
for
away.
that. I'm excited.
Right? Like him
Yeah.
as Heathcliff, dark and brooding and angry and violent.
I'm ready for it.
I'm a Heathcliff apologist from way back in high school. So
I am ready for it. I'm excited about that. I feel like this is the year that he really broke out and showed he is like an actor.
Yes.
An actor, if
yes,
you will.
and he very much takes himself seriously in that way. Like he
Yeah.
wants to be a serious actor.
I feel like he's relaxed a little bit on that this year, which was kind of nice. He stopped hating on the kissing booth every second he got.
Yeah, that was a bit much.
It seems like, and I remember he used to hate the word heartthrob. Like he hated when people called him that. And I feel like now he doesn't care as much. He's like, oh, I can be a heartthrob and do artsy, big, important, creative movies.
Yeah.
It's like, you can have it both now, Jacob. Don't you worry.
Well, he leaned into it during his SNL appearance. Like almost every sketch was about how hot he was.
Yeah.
So I think he was like, "Oh, I can make fun of this, and that's okay."
lean into it, buddy.
Yeah,
We like it.
accept it. Because
We like it.
you know, who knows how long those looks will last. I mean, I hope for his sake they stick, but you know, you never know.
Well, I'm sorry. He also debuted this beard this year. So I'm getting a little
Controversial.
worried here now, Claire. I mean, he needs to shave that. I'm
Is it-
sorry. I did not like it.
Is it for a role? Do we know?
I think it might be.
Okay,
Why else
hopefully.
would he do that to himself?
I don't know. Maybe
we need
he's-
to see that jawline at all times.
You know what I appreciate about him is that he unabashedly wears a bag. He's always got a purse
Yeah.
or a bag on his shoulder, and like it's I don't want to call it like a man bag or a merce or anything cutesy. He always has like a nice little accessory, and I love that.
I know. I love that too. He really made that a thing.
He did. Good for him.
That's what we want in our heartthrobs. We want them to come out with a fashion statement
Yes.
that then becomes very popular. So he's doing it right. I mean, he knows how to do a photo shoot too.
Oh my God.
His GQ photo shoot, I still think about. I mean, that man has a good face card. So shave that beard. Don't hide that away. You liked the beard though, didn't you?
I don't dislike it. I did. I commented. I said, actually, I don't hate it. I think I prefer him clean shaven, but I'm not mad about it.
Yeah.
You know,
That's okay.
I like, different sides, different facets.
Yeah.
I want to know that you can do both.
I get that. That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's just like such an unkempt beard.
Yes, that's true.
That's what it was.
It's too long.
It is a little
Yeah.
unkempt. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, can we just trim that down a little bit, buddy, before the red carpet? Is that too much to ask? But yeah, we're going to see a lot from Jacob next year. I just think he'll be on this list every year. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
He will be on
just
it
love
every
Jacob
year.
Elordi.
I'm not taking him off because he really did transcend the heartthrob thing.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy. I mean, he started with the kissing booth, which I love, by the way. I'm not shitting on the kissing booth.
No, the kissing booth is a fun time.
Yeah. So good for him. Can't wait to see where he goes. All right. Next up, we have Kit Connor from Heartstopper. He had a big year this year.
A huge year. He might be, I think, the youngest entrant on this list.
Yeah, he is young.
He's like 20.
We forget because his arms are so big.
I know, right? They're the size of like a 35-year-old man's.
Let's take a moment for those arms. I mean, when he debuted those, wow.
I mean, he puts the work in.
Yeah. Even if he wasn't in Romeo and Juliet this year, I would be like, he can still be on the list for those arms.
Absolutely. Well, you saw the show in person. He's playing Romeo on Broadway.
Yes. So that was a big breakout thing for him this year. And well, he does this big lift in the show.
Yes.
Where he like grabs onto this like platform.
Right.
He has to jump up and grab it.
Juliet is like hovering on this hanging platform, right?
Yeah. So he jumps up and grabs it, and it's like,
and does like a pull up to reach her.
And it's like, you're just staring at the arms. I mean, it is wild. And he's hanging up there for like a little bit.
And I feel like that moment in the show, like I haven't even seen the show yet, but everyone knows about it. Like it's talked about on like theater TikTok, in theater like circles. Like it was named the New York Times one of like the most magical 9 theater moments of 2024 was that moment.
Yeah.
When he does the pull up. So
yeah,
good for you, Kit Connor.
Yeah, that was a moment that like transcended Broadway. Like everybody was talking about it. Even people who like don't know much about Broadway or something like that. That was a big moment. He also wears a lot of fun fashion in the show too, which I really love. He comes out in this like sparkly jumpsuit.
Oh yeah.
It's fun. But Kit Connor is also the only heartthrob on the list that I had a somewhat interaction with.
Oh my gosh, tell us about it.
So I was at the Romeo and Juliet after party on opening night, and he was all over. He seemed so sweet. He was like taking photos with people. I didn't ask for one, you know, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
trying to be nice to my friend who invited me, not get him fired. He was really working the room. He was also dressed like Leo in the Romeo and Juliet movie. Like he had that like loose tie and like tousled hair, which I loved that he leaned into that.
Nice.
I thought that was fun, and I was like, you're a heartthrob. Like, this is good.
Yeah.
Good for you. But so I'm at the party, and I trip over this light, and I knew he was like right next to me as I was doing this, and I was like, oh my God, oh no. But then I was like, maybe those arms will come out and catch me. They did not, and it's okay. But yeah, we didn't really talk. So we were very close by each other.
Really
so
thought
you
this was
tripped
going
near
somewhere.
him, but didn't speak to him.
We were breathing that same air.
Okay, that counts.
I tripped in front of him, and I got quite
I'm
embarrassed
sure
about
he
it.
remembers that
I
moment.
think he does.
Yeah.
He probably was like, oh, maybe I should have helped that girl.
Yeah.
And then decided not to.
Well, I didn't fall or anything. I didn't need help, to be clear.
You were just hoping that he would reach out anyway.
It was quite a loud trip, so it was like somewhat embarrassing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And my friend was like, oh my God. He saw that. Like, so he
So
saw
the
it.
interaction
so that was the
that
interaction.
he looked at you.
Yeah.
He's seen you.
Okay,
that's
all right,
it.
that counts.
Nobody
Sure.
else on this
No.
list has seen any of us. So.
Well, Adam Brody might have from
Yeah, we were pretty close.
8 rows back.
If the lights weren't too
I
bright.
was waving.
He also, season 3 of Heartstopper came out this year.
Yeah.
Very
And
popular
huge show.
Huge
Yeah.
show.
And he was dressed as Captain America in a scene. That really went viral.
Okay, I
He
did not
looked
know
good.
that. I'm
Yeah.
behind on my Heartstopper watch, but I'll get there.
Yeah.
Don't worry. He also voiced a character in the movie The Wild Robot, which is an Oscar contender for Best Animated Feature. He's sort of like one of the lead characters in that movie, which I would recommend. I sobbed, but he's, he voices like a little bird, and it's cute. So
Yeah.
he's connected, and he's got a big movie coming out later, I think next year rather. It's a new Alex Garland film, a new A24 movie with a bunch of hot young actors, some of whom we'll talk about later on in this list. So he's, got projects in the pipeline.
And he was recently named to the Hollywood Reporter's Next Gen list. That's a big list. That's a big accolade.
Yeah, Kaya Gerber and a few other folks were on that list. So yeah, he's in the mix there.
I mean, good for him. I feel like he's really starting to break out of Heartstopper now and got some really big projects and just be a name out there.
Yeah.
And again, he's one of these people who will be like, ooh, what will they do next?
Yeah, I think he's got a long career ahead of him.
Yeah, very exciting. Good for him.
Yeah. So speaking of that A24 Alex Garland movie, another actor on our list who is in that is Charles Melton of Riverdale.
I mean, he should have gotten that Oscar nom for May December. He was snubbed.
Honestly, outrageous. After
Yeah.
winning the Gotham Award, being nominated for the Golden Globe, the Indie Spirit, the Critics' Choice, all these other awards, and then no Oscar nomination? Ridiculous.
disgraceful.
I think it's that prejudice that they have against former teen actors.
I just wanted the Riverdale to Oscar pipeline so bad.
Same.
Like, how good would that have been?
Like, I want it to be vindicating for us.
Yeah.
I want people to be like, see, this is why we watch those shows, because there are good actors on these shows.
Exactly.
One day.
I loved seeing his breakout, though. It was just so fun because he ended Riverdale and then like went into press, I feel like, for this movie not long afterwards.
Very quickly, yes.
So that was exciting.
Yeah.
And it was just fun hearing him talk about Riverdale and all these like big important interviews with like Natalie Portman.
I know, when they would be like, have you ever watched it? And she was like, no. And then I think he was like, do you even know what it's called? And she was like, no. Like, oh my God. At least she's honest.
I also love that he's a CW boy.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's one of these ones that they're not doing 8 episodes.
No.
They're doing, I mean, maybe not fully 22
but a lot
towards the end, but a lot of episodes where it's hard to do other projects while you're on the show. So that's why it's fun to see them really break out and be able to do something big. I feel like he is the first example of one of these teen drama boys ending the show and getting like a huge movie and awards buzz.
Yeah. I mean, he was on the cover of the Vanity Fair Hollywood issue last year.
Yeah.
Which is like crazy. Like, that's a big deal. Like, I buy that issue just to like look at it and be like, oh my God, who's like well known this year? And so he was on that. He's going to be on the new season of Beef.
Right. Yeah. That will be fun.
I know, with Oscar Isaac, Kaylee Spaney, Carey Mulligan, like some really good names. So like, I'm excited to see that.
He's booked and busy.
Yeah, this is what we want for them.
But still snubbed at the Oscars. At least we might get you Heartthrob of the Year.
Yeah. One day.
All right. Next on our list, we have Leah Woodall from One Day, a show that we love this year and we covered on the podcast.
We did.
And we love the show mainly because of Leah Woodall.
I mean, this is what you were talking about earlier with Adam Brody and like the romance. Like, Leah Woodall brought the romance. The way that he looked at her was everything. It made the whole show.
It's all in the eyes. And not all men have this. And Leah Woodall definitely has it. Like, he gets it. He knows how to look at his love interest.
Yes.
And I appreciate that.
He's just so cute too. Like, there's something like so like likable about him, so sweet.
Yeah.
But so sexy at the same time. And we know like he has like a cute relationship with Megan Fahey, so I feel like that makes him more likable. That like, you know, she's a little older than him, and I'm like, oh well, if she likes him and approves of him, then like he must be a good guy. Therefore, he's more attractive.
I know, they are so cute together. I love them together.
Yeah.
And they've been together for a while now.
Yeah, since they filmed White Lotus, so that's been at least 2 years, maybe.
Longer than that, even.
Gosh, yeah, it's been a minute.
That was like 3 apartments ago for me.
Yeah, that's how we measure time.
That is how I measure time.
Honestly, fair enough.
And then he's had a lot of projects announced this year. I definitely feel like he's one to watch. It's announced that he has a main role in the new Bridget Jones movie coming out next year. I'm very excited about that. I was excited when they announced he was in it because I'm like, oh, they get it.
Yeah.
They're like, we need one of these younger guys. Who are we going to get? Leah Woodall.
Yeah, he looks cute in the photos that we've seen so far.
Yeah.
He also has an Apple TV Plus show premiering at the beginning of the new year.
Oh, well, none of us watch Apple TV Plus. I feel like all those shows come out and there's like no marketing, so we have no idea
I
about
know,
it.
but you know what? Apple TV Plus, he's getting that paycheck.
Yeah.
So that counts
Good
for something.
him.
Yeah.
He deserves it. I mean, he was really good in One Day.
Yeah. And
Just acting wise, like I do think he's a really good actor.
I don't, you know, I mean, I liked him on White Lotus, but I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't know how talented he is because it's such like a different role. And then after One Day, I was like, oh no, he's really good.
Well, also his roles in White Lotus and One Day were so different. I mean, the range on this guy.
Yeah.
Again, I'm putting money on him. I feel like he'll go far.
Yeah. So
At least in my heart. Oh, God. Yeah, I'm excited to see him more stuff. Because we're not going to get more One Day. So
No, we're not.
I'm like, I need to see him in more things.
Yeah. More rom-coms.
All right. We're down to our last nominee.
Yes.
Our 10th and final nominee.
All right, without further ado, the final nominee for Heartthrob of the Year is Chris Briney from The Summer I Turned Pretty.
I mean, he is like the teen show heartthrob of the moment for sure.
Yeah.
And he had a big year this year with Mean Girls coming out. I feel like that put him a little bit more in the zeitgeist. You know, he was doing a lot of interviews. He was on The Tonight Show. He was on the cover of Teen Vogue. He also plays a heartthrob in that movie.
Oh, yeah. Aaron Samuels.
Yeah.
I mean, who can forget?
So I'm excited for him. I feel like he had a good year. I mean, we had The Summer I Turned Pretty this year, which I'm still sad about.
I know. But we had a lot of, you know, leaked photos and videos from filming. So,
Yeah.
and we talked about that. We find a way.
The Summer I Turned Pretty is always in my mind.
It's never far from our minds and
Yeah.
our hearts, always. So,
But we've always said this too. He has gravitas.
Gravitas.
He is so good on The Summer I Turned Pretty. I think he's definitely going to be somebody who gets more things.
Yeah. yeah, I could see him doing like more serious roles after
Yeah.
the show ends and things like that.
But I also want him to keep playing like heartthrobs, sad heartthrobs.
He does sad very well. That's, you know,
He
I
does.
thought he was fun in Mean Girls, but I was like, he's not sad in Mean Girls,
wanted
and that's
him to
not
be a
right.
little broody,
We
yeah.
did. He was too
I was like,
happy.
they should have turned Aaron Samuels broody for Mean Girls the musical. Like, give us what we want with
I
Chris
know.
Briney.
I know.
It was funny though, because when I saw that movie, I feel like I was, you know, with a bunch of my gays. And they were like, who is this guy? Like, I have no idea who this is. And I was like, how dare you? This is Conrad Fisher. Get to know him. He is amazing. Okay.
I feel like the gay and the teen TV watching audience, like, they don't intersect as much as you would
Yeah,
think. Like,
they
so
don't.
often, like, what, you know, girls and women are interested in and what gay men are interested in are very similar. And I don't know. I feel like the teen drama space is not one of those intersections for some strange reason.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know,
I feel like maybe too that's why like Heartstopper is like so big, because it's kind of something for everybody.
Yeah.
The girls and the gays.
yeah, that's true. That is true. Historically, not a lot of queer romance on these teen dramas, but that's changing. But yeah, I'm glad you spread the word of Chris Briney to these men.
Yeah, so I feel like that was a big moment for him of me spreading the word.
You doing the Lord's work.
And I am so ready for more The Summer I Turned Pretty next year. I can't wait.
Yeah.
It's going to be exciting.
We're not going to shut up about it.
I mean, I've still been talking about it all year. It hasn't even been on. It's just so good. So it was nice though having him in that movie. So we
Yes.
still like got him this year.
True.
If you're on a teen show, like I need you in the zeitgeist all year round.
Yes, you got to find a way.
So those are our 10 nominees for Heartthrob of the Year. And what's fun is you get to vote as well. So be sure, go to our Instagram at previously_on_teen TV. You can click the link in bio and you can vote for Heartthrob of the Year. We will be crowning our winner on December 22nd. So be sure to vote.
Yes.
All right. And let's talk about maybe some people who did not make the cut, but almost did.
Yeah.
They're still in our hearts.
Yes, these are our honorable mentions who, you know, they made a splash this year, but didn't quite have as big of a moment as the 10 that we've already talked about.
Well, we had some new heartthrobs on some of the new shows that we watched that came out. I mean, Noah Lalonde on My Life with the Walter Boys.
Yes.
He had a big year, I feel like, and kind of emerged as the heartthrob of that show.
Yes, and also Damien Hardung from Maxton Hall.
Gravitas.
Big year for the Middle Part Boys.
Yeah, both of them look similar. Both of them have
Honestly,
blonde middle parts.
So, you know, great year. You know, just too new for them to be a part of this list.
They didn't have a moment
No.
like outside the show.
But we like what we saw.
The gays don't know who they are still,
No.
so-
But, you know, season 2 for both should be coming next year, so we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I feel like they could both have big careers.
Yeah.
Which is exciting. People to watch.
Yeah. Another one, Joseph Quinn, who is on Stranger Things. Not a teen show that we typically talk about, though it does kind of fit the bill.
I do watch it.
Yeah, you watch it.
Maybe we'll talk
It's
about
got
it.
some teens. But he had a really huge year this year, too. He was in A Quiet Place Day 1, Gladiator 2. He was spotted walking around cities with Doja Cat after that whole like viral exchange happened a few years ago, and now they're maybe in a relationship, so that's exciting. He's also going to be in the new Fantastic Four film, as well as the previously mentioned A24 Alex Garland film. So big year for Joseph Quinn.
Yeah, I feel like he's somebody who's really emerged as a breakout star this year. And he's on like all the lists of like who to watch, who's coming up next, who's this new generation.
Yeah.
He's on it a lot. One that pained me that we did not put on this list, Sebastian Stan from Gossip Girl. It was tough. We just had to narrow it down.
Yeah.
He had a big year. Huge year. He's in 2 awards type movies, A Different Man, The Apprentice, and he got 2 Golden Globe nominations, so 1 for each of those movies, which is wild. And he was just like around a lot this year.
Yeah.
I feel like.
I think between the 2 films, he did a lot of press cycles,
Yeah.
a lot of interviews. So he talked about both movies. He talked about his career in general.
Yeah.
He talked about, Gossip Girl here and there. And
Which we love. We love it when he talks about Gossip Girl.
because I think he feels what we feel, which is like Carter Bazin was a good character and they
Yeah.
should have done more with him.
They should have made him a regular. I don't know why they didn't.
And he said in interviews, he's like, I always felt like I kind of was that guy, even though he wasn't on the show that much from like a numbers standpoint. But like he would have fit right in. He should have been a regular.
I feel like he was probably like hanging around the set too with Leighton Meester. Like throw him in a scene.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
Give, Penn Badgley less. Give Dan Humphrey a little less
Honestly,
for
yeah.
Carter Bazin. But he was not a regular on Gossip Girl.
No.
So we didn't put him on this. I also feel like he broke out a long time ago. He was in all the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
He's already known as a big actor.
Yeah.
I feel like.
I hear you.
So I do think he had such a moment this year and it was a big year for him. But I just feel like he's already been wildly popular over the last like 5 years.
I would agree with that.
So it just feels like we could talk about him every year or something.
Yeah. And I think along those lines, one name that we kicked around was also Austin Butler.
Yeah.
Which again, hugely famous before this, had a big year with Dune 2 and is filming additional movies. But, I feel like every year is a big year for him. So
Well, also, I just feel like the Carrie Diaries wasn't a huge show. Like,
No,
we don't really talk about
we
it that much.
don't.
I mean, I enjoyed the show.
I loved the Carrie Diaries.
But it's only 2 seasons.
Yeah.
It's just not one of the teen shows that really, like, made a splash at
No.
the time. It got canceled.
which is a bummer because it was a really good show.
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
was very good in it.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
But
I
yeah.
feel like when he was in it, I was like, oh, this is good. Like,
Yeah.
I was really loving
Sebastian Kidd. I mean,
Hot.
what a name.
it. Yeah. So that's why, he couldn't make the cut. We had to leave it to 10. So cuts had to be made. Fights happened. We're not speaking anymore. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, should we say for the record who our top teen heartthrob of 2024 is personally?
Yes, I'm curious if we're gonna have the same one.
I don't think we will.
Oh,
I think
fun.
you should go first though. 'Cause
Well, I feel like you guys know who mine is. Like, it was the one that I was talking about for like 30 minutes on here. I mean, mine's Adam Brody. Because I just think that we've never seen a renaissance like what we just had with him. And I know he's been around, but he emerged as a heartthrob again. Like, it's not like he went and did this like A24 movie or something like that. So I think in terms of like talking about heartthrob, like he was the heartthrob of the year.
Okay. Yeah. No, I mean, listen, I do not disagree with
Yeah.
you. I think for mine, I'm just going to go with someone who is newer and we're looking ahead. So I'm sort of betting on the future and I'm going to go with Drew Starkey.
That's a good one. I definitely think that he deserves the title as well.
Yeah. I feel like you said he's been everywhere this year. And I think
Yeah.
that there's a lot of interesting stuff to come from him. So, I'm putting my money on the possibilities.
I feel like it could come down to the two of them, honestly.
I can't wait.
We'll see how voting shakes out. So
Yeah.
everyone be sure to vote.
Yes.
I feel like Joshua Jackson is going to be a top contender as
True.
well. He had a really big year. So we'll see. It's exciting. Our first heartthrob of the year. We can do this yearly now.
I know, right?
Yeah, it will be exciting. I mean, we had a lot of people too that we like probably could have included but didn't. So I think it's something that can like shake up every year.
Oh, yeah.
Which is fun. And who doesn't love talking about these boys? It's all in some good fun.
Yeah.
We're having fun with it. I mean, I was elated about doing this. This is my life's work. Be sure to go vote. Tell your friends to vote. Tell your friends of friends. Tell your mom. Tell your family. Tell everybody you know to go vote. I want a big turnout for this, okay? We need the votes. This is serious work, people. And if you are mad that we did not include somebody that you would have liked to see nominated, feel free, send us a message on Instagram. I'm curious of what you guys think. I want to know who you would have nominated or who you thought had a big year that we did not include. So feel free to reach out. And Claire, tell them where they can find us.
Yeah, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. Please remember to rate, review, subscribe, follow, give us 5 stars. You can also find us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at previously on _Teen TV.
Thanks for listening.